Hey there guys, and welcome back to another Project Zomboid video. This one is a little bit different to my usual style of the storytelling. I just thought that seeing as there's so many new players to Project Zomboid, it may be helpful to some of those to see a little beginner tips video, or starting tips. So yeah, these are just some starting tips that I personally thought helped myself, and I thought, may help others. So yes guys, just a few starting tips in this video and a few bonus ones at the end of the video as well, so do make sure you stay till the end to see them ones. If you do enjoy this video and it helps you out a little bit, do please leave a little thumbs up down below and comment as well if you do want to see some more tips as well. There are quite a few things that I thought of, but I was trying to narrow it down to just a few, and I was trying to keep this video as short as possible. So yes guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall speak to you all later. You've just spawned in as your first survivor. The first thing you want to do is to go straight over to the TV and turn it on to life and living and tune in, and just turn the radio and the sound down, to level 2. Especially for the first few weeks of survival inside Zomboid, the TV is one of your most key aspects for growing your skills. So if you click over here on the left hand side and click on your skills panel, currently you can see this character here, Mr. Donald Sledge, was a burglar before the apocalypse, so he's got some basic skills here. But to grow some of these a little bit more quickly, as you can see there, we're watching the cooking channel on Life and Living, which literally is just free skill grinding. And that's level 1. So yeah, especially in your first few weeks of the apocalypse, depending on what difficulty you've chosen, especially if it's the beginning, literally from 6 AM, 12 PM and 6 PM, just try and make sure you get to a TV and put it onto the Life and Living channel, and yeah, it's just literally free skills. It does do a few different skills as well. It doesn't do the same one, so sometimes it's cooking, farming, fishing, trapping and foraging. Sometimes as well, if you're really lucky as well, you get carpentry, which is one of the main skills in Zomboid you really do want. And again, if you can get those first sort of 3-4 levels of carpentry, they're the key ones, again, in my opinion, because they're the ones that unlock you basic walls and also rain collectors, which again are vital for your sort of mid to late game. So a few basic items that you want to try and have on your character at all times. One will be a weapon, a can opener, especially when it gets for the beginning of the game. A can opener is quite vital, especially if you're not finding any fresh food. If you're finding quite a lot of fresh food and things that don't need the can opener, you can often leave it at your base, and especially if you're only looting houses as well. These are quite common in normal houses as well, so you don't actually have to carry one around with you all the time. A hammer, it's quite useful, especially if you're going around house to house. These can be used to dismantle beds, which again is very, very good skill to grind your carpentry skill. And your water bottle. Your water bottle, if you just have it in your inventory at all times and just keep filling it up, your character will just periodically drink from it. This means that basically it just regulates the thirst from you having to do anything. So as long as you've got that water bottle in your inventory and it's got water in it, your character will just drink from it if and when he needs to. And to refill your water bottle, I'll just show for now. Right click on anything that water has and fill bottle. And there you go, job done. So there are a few other things with this character in particular. We have a little starter kit that we've started with, which is where we've started with a school bag, a baseball bat and a few other basic items. Yeah, one of the first things that you do need is a backpack. So in your game, make sure you just hunt around. That is one of your first key items that you do want. Luckily in this house we've managed to find a hiking bag right there, and if we walk over here we found another hiking bag. This is actually quite rare, so in your main game, if you don't find one for quite a while, don't be too disheartened, it does happen. So what I'll do now is I'll just transfer all my items back over into my hiking bag. There are quite a few different bags that you can get. So you can get satchels, handbags, school bags, hiking bags, large hiking bags, and even a military backpack, which is the best bag that you can get in the game. Another item to keep on you at all times as well, I don't have it currently, is a screwdriver. If or when you get a screwdriver, this will again enable you to disassemble watches and other electrical items. And now the electrical skill can be quite good, especially if you can get to level 1, because that is key for hot wiring vehicles. Okay, zombies. With zombies, there's quite a few things that you need to remember. So depending on the difficulty you play, depends on the difficulty of the zombie. With the zombies in this mode, they're actually quite simple and easy. For your starting game, if you don't have many items, it may mean that you may have to try and take one unarmed. If this is the case, literally let the zombie come towards you, get ready, and then just press the spacebar to push them away. It can take a few attempts, but they usually do go down onto the floor after a few attempts. Then position your character and stand on top of them. When you're standing on top of them, the zombie is incapable of getting up or attacking you. This can be quite handy for taking on multiple zombies. As you can see, this one over here is coming towards us very, very slowly. But what we can do in the meantime is dispatch this one while this one's on the floor. So literally, spacebar again, and stomps on his head and gets rid of him. But if you find yourself surrounded by 2 or 3 zombies, this can be a good tactic to stand on one, and it eliminates him from the fight while you take on another 1 or 2. And then what you can do is you can quickly take on another one, push her down, you can deal with the one you're standing on, and straight away move on to the next. This is a good tactic, especially if you don't have any weapons at the start of the game, and in that way gets you on the market for your zombie kills, which now has us on a whole 2. Cars in Zomboid are an instant necessity. If you can try and find a car as soon as possible, it means you can get around the map, and it means you can get away from zombies as quickly as possible. With this car here, what I've just done is I've just smashed the window. What you can do is you can do it with a weapon or without a weapon. But if you do it without a weapon, this does risk your character will then cut himself and start bleeding. And then what you do is you right click on the vehicle and it will come up with smash window. So I'll just demonstrate on this one. Smash front left window. We don't want to do that though, because I've just smashed the window on this side. Enter the vehicle and hold the V key, and it'll give you several options. So the one that we want is to switch seat into the driver's seat. What we'll do is we'll just unlock the trunk, and as you can see, there is no key in this vehicle. It does have quite a lot in the glove compartment. So as our character started off with the burglar trait, which is quite a good trait to start off with, we can actually hotwire the vehicle. So we hold the V key and click hotwire engine. Your character will then proceed to hotwire the engine. If that happens and you don't see any wires coming out of the keyhole there, that means your character failed to hotwire it. This can happen several times, so all you need to do is quickly keep trying and trying. Hopefully your character will eventually succeed. There we go. Hold the W key, and now your character's away with his vehicle. Another thing with vehicles as well is just to check the condition of them. Especially in Survivor and Apocalypse modes, vehicles will often be in not very good condition. So here you can see quite a few different things. So if you click on things such as the gas tank, you can see the gasoline that is inside the vehicle. The engine will tell you the engine quality and the engine loudness. Now the higher the engine quality, the better. That means that your vehicle will start up more often on the first try. The higher the engine loudness is obviously a bad thing, because that means that the engine will be quite loud and will attract quite a lot of zombies. Usually this is on the sort of vans and trucks that you'll find. Engine loudness on smaller vehicles isn't usually a bad thing. But high engine quality is quite often a good thing to see. Then overall you can just see general wear and tear on the vehicle itself. These things will degrade over time, and if you hit objects and zombies, especially the hood and the windshield, and bear in mind that if your hood is broken, your engine will eventually start taking damage, which will lower these skills in turn. Bases in Zomboid are obviously an important thing, because this will be where your place that your character calls home. This will also be the place where you store all your food, objects, weapons, and all the other items you have. For our character here, he spawned in one of the better places in Moldra, which is the fenced off house. It's a very good starting position because it gives you a fenced off area where zombies cannot enter. Zombies can't also break these fences, and the character can actually leap over them if he needs to. There's only one way in and out, which you can actually build eventually once you upgrade your carpentry skill. You can upgrade and build some walls and a door or a gate, so that way you can drive vehicles in and out. Another good thing with this spot as well is that you can build rain collectors, farms, and it gives you quite a good safe zone to do these sorts of things here. There are quite a few bases all across the map which you can find, so I do suggest giving the Project Zomboid map a look at. If you just Google the Project Zomboid map and have a look, you can often have a little quick look and find what you want on there. But yeah, there are quite a few bases all across Muldrow. So there is McCoy Logging Co. to the west, again, another good strong base location. And there's also a warehouse just to the north of Muldrow, which again is another strong location. But yeah, as I say, do check out the Project Zomboid map, have a look for yourself, and yeah, just give it a go. So guns. Guns can be a good thing in Zomboid because they can clear areas nice and quick for you. However, they can also be very, very dangerous. They can often attract hordes and hordes of zombies. Things such as shotguns, such as this one here, which is the overland coach gun, can often attract hordes and hordes due to the noise that they make. Small firearms can often attract less zombies, but again are not as powerful. Characters often spawn as well with virtually no skill, such as aiming and reloading, which often makes them very inaccurate. So guns are usually a no-go, especially in your start of your days of Zomboid. So if you see guns, try not to pick them up as often as you might want to. If you've got space in your backpack, sure, chuck them in there, take them back to your base for a rainy day. Otherwise, don't pick them up. They're worth more to their mid to late game. However, if there is a time when you're just thinking, hey, I'm bored of, hitting zombies with wrenches, I want to shoot some guns, don't tell me what to do, then fair enough. All you need to do it safely, is equip your shotgun while driving a vehicle, hold the V key to turn your window down, there we go, and all you need to do is drive alongside a zombie, hold your right click, and as you can see there, the zombie turns green, which means we're currently aiming at them, and shoot away. This means that you can aim up your aiming skill and your reloading skill in the safety of your own vehicle. As long as you've got some shotgun shells in your inventory as well, all you need to do is press the R key, and you'll reload your vehicle, reload your weapon as well. Just be aware that using things such as this shotgun, as you can see, all these zombies are now aware of me, but this is a surefire way of upgrading your aiming skill safely and quickly. When it comes to your very early game, foraging can be an extremely useful tool. You can find things such as materials, food, and even some fish bait and medicinal plants if you've read the book or your character has got the career path to know those such things. So what we're going to do here is just put some items in our backpack and hopefully find some things while we look. So we've actually found some berries, some tree branches, and some more berries and some worms. So for this sort of early in the game, what you can see here is inside our backpack here we've got Unknown Berry. Now, unless you've read the certain book or got the career path, which I believe is the Park Ranger, your character will just believe that these are unknown berries. Just be warned that eating unknown berries could risk your character eating some poison berries, which can make him sick, and if you eat enough of them, actually kill them. So always be warned, try and make sure you've read the correct book to have the berries. I often, if it just says unknown berry, don't eat them, just in case, because sometimes I get quite attached to my characters. With things such as tree branches, these can be quite useful to make weapons, especially if you're struggling to find any good weapons in your first run of Zomboid, but you've managed to find things such as a knife. So what you can do is with a tree branch, right click on the tree branch, and you've actually got quite a few options. You can actually make a splint if you've currently broken a bone, so you can use a tree branch or a ripped sheet. You can make a stake or create a spear. Spears are often quite an easy tool to make in Zomboid and are very good weapons, especially early game. So there we go, so we've now actually crafted a spear. Depending on your level of carpentry depends on the condition of the created spear. If you've got a very high level of carpentry, you'll create often near perfect spears every single time. Obviously we've got not a very good one, so our condition is quite low. But you can create the spear, equip it in your hands, and it gives you a relatively good weapon to deal with zombies at distance. Spears are often quite useful for one-hitting zombies as well, so as long as you've got them in a distance and time your spear thrust, they'll often one-hit zombies straight away. So if this is your first Zomboid game and you just started in your first base, just to be aware, there is an event called the helicopter event. So around the 7-day mark, you'll have a helicopter fly over the head of your character and attract zombies towards you. It's often wise to not be around your base when this happens, because otherwise you'll have a lot of zombies accumulating towards your home base. So often I'll try and make sure I'm out scouting, and until the event stops, that's when you'll return home. If this happens though and you're in a base like this, it's often best to try and get away as fast as possible, or if your base then ends up getting overrun, getting in a vehicle and manoeuvring elsewhere. With your items in your inventory as well, a thing to do as well if you just want to keep them there and make sure you don't accidentally drop them is to favourite them. I've seen quite a few Project Zomboid players on YouTube and Twitch who don't favourite their items and then wonder what happens to their hammer. So all it takes is for you to right click on the item and click favourite. So this just means that you want that to stay in your inventory at all times. So then that way if I drag my water bottle out of my inventory, he won't drop it. So if for example I wanted to drop my can opener but I wanted to keep my chips and I accidentally selected both and went like that, as you can see they are now dropped. Now if you're in the heat at the moment you might not notice that and you'll wander away, and then later on I'll wonder where my chips have gone. I've left them there. So yeah, quite a key skill to remember. Just favourite the things that you want. So water bottle, hammer, a screwdriver if you have one. Just a few things to know. So another thing to do with cars as well is fuel. Fuel is a necessary thing to power generators and also your vehicle. So especially in those first few days, if you're near a gas station, it's best to stock up on fuel. So what you can do as well, if the area is relatively safe as well, you can actually fill your car directly from the gas tank, which saves you numerous runs with a gas can. So what you can do is park next to the gas pump, right click, and actually refuel from gas pump. I've seen quite a few players who actually didn't know this was actually a thing in Zomboid, but yes, it is. Literally park next to the pump, right click, and refuel from pump. Your character will then pump the fuel in and give yourself a full tank. Just be aware that while you're doing this, you are vulnerable for attacks. Only do this if you're absolutely sure that it is safe to do so. So just a quick little tip here. So when you first create your character, something to be mindful about. Something I always end up doing is just giving them a formal shirt. So if you're not sort of role playing, or you're not sort of too fussed about this character creation screen, if you give your character a formal shirt, when you get into the game, that just gives you an extra shirt to then be able to rip up some extra clothing. So obviously depending on where you spawn, sometimes you're not always gifted with things like sheets or extra clothes. So again, just in case, just gives you some extra bandages right from the get-go. And there you have it, everyone. 7 useful tips as well as a few bonus little ones as well for you. I hope you all learned a little something. I know a few people who didn't know a few of these things, and yeah, I thought that everyone else might find some of these things useful. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a thumbs up down below and let me a comment as well. Let me know if you did find anything useful and if you didn't know any of these things. And give me some tips as well, maybe I'll put some more in future videos. If this one does well, then yeah, maybe I'll do some more. Yes guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. And I hope you all take care, and I'll see you all soon.